Hello! Alright, so Lindsay made a bunch of great tutorial videos for these trackers, but of course mine are set up slightly differently with the multi-learner idea, so I had a request to do some tutorial videos on how to edit things for more than 4 people, so I have it set up for 2 learners and 2 parents. Of course, they could work for 3 learners and 1 parent, 1 learner, 3 parents, or other adult, or other humans. Don't have to be parents. And it's easy enough to remove them if you only have, say, like 2 learners and 1 parent. But if you want to add more, it does get more complicated very quickly. So first thing, I'm starting on the form. That one's pretty straightforward. You go into the form and you would type in, the name of the person. Of course, just a reminder, before you edit any of these templates, please go in and make a copy first. So you would go make a copy and then edit your copy with the names of your family members. So you wouldn't actually put parent 3 modeled, most likely you would put your name. So like Jenny. In my case, mine looks like Orion, Percy, Hero, James modeled, Jenny modeled. Again, if you have more than 4, the dashboard, the data studio is fairly straightforward. Again, you want to make sure you go make a copy of it first. Make sure you make a copy of the template before you do anything. And then edit your copy, not this one, please. Now, of course, the one thing is when you go through, you will have to change the data source for all of these, because right now the data source on all of them is the data from the templates, which is why there's nothing here. So you'll go through and you just click on that. You go to the correct data source for yours, the one that you have created, and then this should update as fine. So this doesn't matter however many people you have in your family, learners and parents. All right, so this is where it gets complicated. So this is the template data. If you follow Lindsay's tutorial videos, the responses is directly from the form. So this, you shouldn't have to edit at all. This will be as normal. Soundboard, again, this you'll fill out as Lindsay recommends. When you add a button, its category, the date added, and your total number of buttons. Button data, again, should be fine. There was a question at one point about what if we wanted to add another question to a form. So this form here, if, for example, you wanted to add a 6th button press. I know I've seen some animals are pressing, 8+ buttons. You can do that really easily here. You add a question, you add that in. On the button data, I believe when I had done this, it'll appear at the end here, like button 6, button, etc. So you might have to change a couple of these things if you do that, but in general, it should be okay. All right, this one is actually fine. So this one, again, automatically, it's like how Lindsay recommended. When you've copied this and then you go ahead and you go to edit it, it'll have like an A or an error in this box at first. You just click in there, you press enter or press tab, and it'll update it to your data. Otherwise, daily total by person, shouldn't matter how many people you have. All right. Word use by person, this is the first one that's going to change. So first you're going to add a name here. So we're going to do parent 3 modeled. Of course, it's not supposed to be edited, so while you're changing it, you can say, you know, don't show for 5 minutes. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your box here with the formula, that little blue box, grab it, drag to the right. All right. So now here, you want to change this to A2, and then where it says E, you want to change it to F. Just want to make sure, yep, those are correct. And then again, this is going to change to F, and this is going to change to A, because we want to make sure that we're looking in this column, not this column. And then you drag it down, and it should work. And then this is, this page is just a count of how many times each person has used each word within a date range. So when you add a new word to your soundboard, this will automatically update. And if you've dragged that formula down, the number will automatically update. As long as this name is the exact same as appears on your form, this will update just fine. And you can change start and end dates. So if, for example, the progress report is from, you know, 3:20 to 4:02, it will look at how many times each of those buttons was used by each person during those specific dates. Okay, so this one is kind of filled in automatically, but you also have to do some edits. So I tried to give some instructions here for what to do if you have more than 4 people. I understand if it's a little complicated, and that's why I'm doing the video tutorial. All right, I tried to make it a little bit easier than it was for people who have more than 4 people in their family, at least if they have 5, 6, or 7 people. If you have more than 7 people in your family, you'll still have to go through the whole process of editing the formula, but I went ahead and I put the formula for 5, 6, or 7 people directly here. So all you have to do is you insert however many extra people you have. So I have 6 people. I can select all of that, control, drag down, put in their names. So I have my 6 people here, select that, control. I want to drag down till there are 3 sets, 3 extra sets. So there's that 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of all 6 people. And then I'm going to go over here. I have 6 people, so I make sure I select this one, select this formula, again, select the things between the quotes, Control C, and then the first date that is not typed in. So here is where I'm going to Control V. That's the new formula, press enter. Grab that little blue box, drag down, and now you can see the date matches up to all 6 people. If you have more than 7 people in your household, you will have to go through and edit the formula, and I'll show how I did that for, I think 6 people here in a sec. Let's go back to number per person per day. And this one isn't currently locked because depending on how many people you have, you might have to edit this to start. But once you have finished your editing originally, I would go ahead and go through and select Protect Sheet because you shouldn't have to edit this again afterwards. All right, so let's say we have 3 parents and 2 learners. All right, so from here we have to do some stuff. So this tries to give some explanation to help, but that's also why the video tutorial is here. So first, you need to insert a new row. So right click and then just insert one above. When you have that blank row, if you want to just select A through C, hold Control key, select that little blue and drag down. That will put this starter date and everything. Then you just need to change the name. And you can see it updates automatically over here. So the order doesn't matter. It will list them alphabetically here, regardless. So up to you how you order that. If you want to, the instructions have you do it individually. You drag this one down with Control, type in the name, and then drag this one down with Control. Same thing. Now, if you have 6 people in your household, then you would do that again. You insert one above, copy this down. Oops, I copied too far. Sorry, just copy down into the blank and put in the name. And then you're going to select, the person and the number per person per day for however many people you have there. So I'm going to stick with just 5, but same concept at this point if you have more than 5. So you're going to select this little box, and then you want to drag down, you can see here, so it's like B2, 2, 3, 6 or whatever. Hold Control and drag the square until you have 3 sets of the parent learner names. So what that means is, so I'm holding Control and I'm going to drag down, and so now I have 5. So that would be 1 set. That'd be 2 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 3 sets. All right. So I now have 3 sets. So you can see parent 1, 2, learner 1, learner 2, parent 3, parent 1, 2, learner 1, 2, parent 3, etc., down to parent 3. So I'm just going to delete a chunk of info here just so I can see the clear gap. All right. So this is our people names with the formula as correct. In the A column, you now have these dates. Now, of course, we set it up at the beginning, so 1/1/21 is just a placeholder, basically. So in the dashboard, there's a nice little January 1/1 dot. That's the point. And in yours, it would be at 0, not at 1. But so it starts at 0, wherever else it goes from there. These have formulas in them. So the way this formula is made is it's designed for, if there are already 4, you change to the next day. If there are less than 4, you count until there are 4. So if you have more than 4 people, you have to change this formula. So the ones that just have a date in them, skip those, leave them as is, go to the one that has a formula in it. And the idea is you would put this date is the first date that you're recording data. So like today would be 4/10, and you can see it'll fill in the future dates, but it stops filling in dates once it reaches today. So since today is 4/10, there are no future dates. But 2/28 is in the past, so it continues filling in. And then what you do, once you have the date formula as correct, you select the whole chunk from A to C of all of your people, hold Control, and then just drag down. and drag as far as you want. The idea is, doesn't matter how far you drag. Of course with this, because there are some extras, I'll delete those, sorry. And now, all of this will automatically update as the day ticks on. So for 11, right now it goes up to 410. On 411, that will be here. 412, that will be here, etc. And it will automatically calculate how many buttons were pushed by each person for each day, and then it averages that number here. All right. Now, I'm going to go back. If you have more than 5 people, this is where it gets a little more complicated. So once more, let's add, so I did a control drag. So let's do learner 3. So we have 3 learners and 3 parents in the household. So we have 6 people. So the original thing is to select the B to C, hold control, select this, and you can see I went a little far. That's fine. I can just delete those for now. So now, again, I have 3 sets of all of the parents and learners, all of the people in the household. I have 3 sets. So, unfortunately, the formula gets more complicated here. I'll actually walk you through it. So again, if there's a date typed in, don't click on that one. Click on the first untyped date. So I'm going to do Control V here. So this is the 5-person formula. Now, what this formula is trying to look at is see how many instances of this date above exist. If there are, this formula specifically is looking at 5. The original one is looking at 4. We want to look at 6. So first thing is, this is looking at the wrong cell. You can see it. It highlights it. We want to be looking at the cell above. So all of these 7s we're going to turn into 8s. Oops. There we go. So now it's looking at this cell. All right. Now the thing is it's skipping a cell. So to make it go up, all of these numbers we're going to increase by 1. So A6 becomes A7. Okay, so as you can see, what's highlighted is we're now looking at the 5 cells above. Unfortunately, we want to look at the 6 cells above because we currently have 6 people. If we have 7, same concept. You have to change these numbers, and then you're going to have to go in and add stuff. So we're going to take this if, etc., to the comma. We're going to go to the last one in the row. So if A8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, we're adding in the new one here. We're going to do if A4 equals A3, then A3 plus 1, else oops. And then we need to go else A4. So now we have this new section in here. I'm going to copy the whole thing, and I'm going to paste it over this. So, oops, we need a comma there. So, and you can see how without that comma, that A4 isn't colored. That lets me know that it's not reading it correctly. That's how I knew there was a comma needed. So, and you can double check, is this correct by 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3 plus 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the idea is, you can see now there are 6 boxes selected. What this formula is saying is, so first it looks, is this box above blank? If it's blank, this one should be blank. There's no date. All right. If this box is not blank, then does this date equal this one? If these two are the same, then it looks at the next set. If they're not the same, like in this case, then it will equal the most recent one. Idea is it's seeing, do we have 6 dates in a row that are the same? If they're all the same and not blank, then add a 1, it's the next day. It also looks at whether it's today or not, so that way we can drag down and it's not going to fill it in with dates that haven't occurred yet, because we don't want blank data. So, because since we're averaging numbers, if we have a lot of dates in the future that have 0, that's going to change our average, and we don't want that. So the idea is it's going to set up this date, and then Control, select that box, drag down, and you'll see that date changes at the new set, goes until the end of that set, and changes again. Hopefully that's understandable. I know it's a lot, but hopefully that makes sense. All right. If you have if you have 5 or more people, time of day sheet should be fine. Though if you're not in Central Time, make sure to change the time zone. So go to File, Spreadsheet Settings. You'll see the time zone right here. Go ahead, select whatever time zone you're in. You'll save settings. If you already have data, supposedly it will fix it. I had trouble getting it to fix it, so I went in and manually changed it. But it's just better if you try to remember, as soon as you copy, so make a copy of this, and as soon as you copy it, before you start putting data in, try to remember to go change that time zone. That's going to make your life easier. So this is the last thing. If you have 5 or more people in your household, is you're going to have to insert something right here. So if we have 5 people, we insert 1. If 6 people, insert 2. This is pretty simple. You just drag down. But this one, you would fill in. So if this was, say, parent 3's average words per day, that's fine. But make sure you note, this is alphabetical. So if, for example, in number per person per day, if we add, parent 3 modeled at the bottom here, it is going to come to the bottom here. But if we add learner 3 to the bottom, it's going to appear here above parent 1 and parent 2. Or if you have, the names, so Hero, Orion, Percy, Jenny, and James, it's my household, they will appear alphabetically regardless of how you have them listed here. So make sure in this section you list them alphabetically. So Hero, Orion, Percy, James, Jenny. You want to make sure that you put them alphabetically so that these numbers match. Same idea if you have 6 or 7 people, you just insert them below, just to make sure that these names are alphabetical so that the numbers match up correctly. All right, that's it. Hopefully that's at least a little more clear. Please feel free to, message me or whatever, and I can try to help further. I know it's a little complicated, especially if you have more people. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good day.